Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our Talks with Walt, as we are calling our readings through the deathbed edition of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. We pick up now with another little poem called Thought. We've seen obviously this now several times. We saw Thought and that poem of obedience, faith, adhesiveness. Then we saw Thought of justice, and now Thought of equality. And I think that what Whitman is doing is he's trying to make an argument, as Whitman, the political Whitman, is challenging us to think about what exactly it means to say that one is celebrating this idea of democracy. Now this poem, Thought, is poem number 25 of the 29 of By the Roadside. And the assumptions for us are that you've been with us already at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Talks with Walt, all the way from the very beginning with inscriptions. I did give a set of introductory comments to Roadside, and then we just finished with Hast Never Come to Thee an Hour. Now our background information from Norton's will tell us that this poem was the second line of Thoughts number 4 in the 1860 and 67 editions. In 1871, 72, and in 76, it was printed in Passage to India as a separate poem under the present title and transferred to By the Roadside in 1881. Notice the construction is very similar to the earlier poem that started of justice, only now it will be equality. Of equality, as if it harmed me, giving others the same chances and rights as myself, as if it were not indispensable to my own rights that others possess the same. I have made the argument a number of times in our Talks with Walt that I think that Leaves of Grass needs to be read and studied now in American thought history more than at any given time. And I would make that argument even of Whitman's own time. When we get to drum taps, I'll try and make the same argument. I think that Whitman understood something fundamental about what it means to be an American, and that is justice and equality has got to be central to the definition of democracy. Notice we begin with this same construction of equality. And by the way, this is the first use of that word equality in all of Leaves of Grass. Fascinating. Again, the use of the dash 2 times in this poem leads us back to earlier poems, especially in Roadside, where he loves to play with this. It makes us think of our Emily Dickinson, obviously. And then this as-if construction that he uses earlier. As if it harmed me, giving others the same chances. And of course the word same was used as well in the earlier poem Thought for same ample law. The giving others the same chances and rights. I love that Whitman uses that phrase. It's about chances, opportunities. Whitman figured out early on, you can't have a democracy if everybody doesn't have the same opportunities, the same chances. That's fundamental to Whitman's view of democracy. The same chances and rights, and obviously for him to use the word rights, this will take us back to his love of Jefferson and that precious document of the Declaration of Independence, right? That is to say, we hold these truths to be self-evident, all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuits of happiness. Well, wait, we don't talk about that anymore because Jefferson owned slaves. Oh no, that's exactly why we talk about it. And I think for Whitman as well, this is central to understanding the history of America's evolutionary thought, and I think it is evolutionary, of this notion of rights. And to that degree, notice here he says, it can't be the case, he says, that I am somehow harmed. I am lesser than. When I become inclusive in my definition of democracy as being for justice and equality, for everyone, all chances and rights as myself. Notice, of course, the use of the word myself, because the most important poem in Leaves of Grass is what? Song of Myself. For every atom belonging to me as well belongs to you. And all of a sudden, in an insight moment, back to the earlier poem of the gleam of Hast Never Come to Thee an Hour, in an insight moment we realize this has been Whitman's, well, one of his agendas from the very beginning. Every atom belonging to me as well belongs to you. We're all in this together, and that's what America means. And of course, when we get to Passage to India, that's what it means to be a citizen of the world. He will then finish with this second dash. As if, the second as if it were not indispensable, which is a phrase still through the one I sing, you'll remember this word indispensable, to my own rights that others possess the same. It is a brilliantly constructed, I mean, it's an amazing little set of lines that suggests you can't have democracy. Now we're to 2a. The only true democracy is, of course, going to be built on equality and justice for all shared equally. It's the only way. It's the only way. Of course, at 2b, I love the use of the dash. And I love that how there's a certain kind of continuance of a certain argument that he's making in By the Roadside that will jump from poem to poem. That's really a lot of fun as well. At 3a, well, there's so many obviously texts that we could throw alongside this one. Mills on Liberty comes to mind. That classic little essay of Margaret Mead, the egalitarian error, that same and equal don't mean the same thing at all. That is to say, everyone's got to have equal opportunities and chances for rights to be fully expressed. And finally at 3b, well, what for you, as you think about the nation, America, and as well the world, what work still is left, do you think, to provide equality for all? And how do you understand the use of that idea of the word equality and justice? I hope that reading Leaves of Grass continues to challenge you in the way you think about equality and justice. Thank you.